Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Funnel Trade. I have a bunch of questions that I've been getting asked and a bunch of thoughts I've been having, so I actually made a couple of notes and I'm just going to talk into the camera for a little while. So first up, Lost Caverns of Ixalan collector boxes are actually doing exceptional. I didn't think they would do this well for this long. They're up at about 264 market price today, which for a standard expansion collector box that had a wholesale price in the low 190s, mid 190s maybe, they just really are doing exceptional. So there's no way around that. On the other side, we have Ravnica Remastered, which is doing okay. It's not doing as well as you might think at the start. The wholesale on those was around 230s. They're at, 252 market today. So, yes, they can be sold profitably in store for card stores that got them on the initial 230 ish price from their distributors. But as far as the marketplaces, not many people are selling them profitably on the expensive marketplaces like TCG Player and eBay. So, I don't know what I want to say about the odds of those coming down in price, going up in price. I For Lost Caverns of Ixalan, it's a standard set. On average, standard products give about 15, 16, 17% returns, compound annual growth rate. Lost Caverns of Ixalan, the collector boxes especially, may just turn out to be one of those outliers that gives outsized returns in the long run. I would tend to think there's a better chance than not that over the course of the next 6 months, the boxes drop. Now, I don't expect them to collapse down below $200. I think if we see them go down to 230, 240, I would not be terribly surprised by that. And like I said, I think they have a better than even chance of that happening, and that's just because the TCG expansion life cycle is going to do its thing. It's a standard expansion. It's going to be standard legal for, golly, 2 years and 2.5 more years, something like that. And so, there will be plenty of time for all the singles in the set to get flooded into the market from the draft and set booster boxes, and for the single prices to plummet and pull a lot of support out from underneath the collector box prices. But again, I don't expect it to crash down below 200 or anything. I would be surprised to see them continue to march up in that short term. Now, when we get out 3 years or so, yeah, when they consolidate, when the base set is out of print and the prices start to tighten because the quantity and the supply of the other boxes starts to dry up, then yeah, they might have outside returns. Outsized returns. I would not be surprised to see that. And circling back around on that point to Ravnica Remastered collector boxes, oh boy. WotC's kind of done this weird thing with Ravnica Remastered where you've got the serialized cards in there, but then they upped the pull rate by slashing the print run. And I just cannot even guess how that's going to turn out in the long run, because serialized cards for Magic are such a gamble to start with. They make sense in sports where you can't actually play with the cards, where they are exclusively collector items for nostalgia, for that. And serialized cards in that context make a lot of sense because people will want to collect them even harder. For Magic, where collecting has never been the priority, it's a little harder for me to figure out what I think long term on what the fate of serialized cards is going to be, and especially for Ravnica Remastered, where the distribution of the cards was amped up so much and they were so common. I'm just not sure. I kind of expect on the medium timeline, again, the TCG expansion life cycle is going to do its thing. It's going to generally pull the prices downwards. Whether or not the boxes have any buoyancy against that because of the low print runs, we're going to have to wait and see. But again, I don't expect these to fly up to $300 anytime soon, certainly not within 18 to 24 months. I just don't see it happening. And remember, when you're thinking about those kind of things, especially the collector boxes where there's only one printing of them and that's it, sell-through analysis on TCG Player or eBay does not mean anything. I did a lot of videos about that earlier in the channel's life. I believe that was early 2022, maybe. I did a series of videos following the sell-through and the available inventory of boxes on TCG Player, and what it showed over a long period of time, long being about 4 months of data, was that the number of boxes available on any given day on TCG Player compared to the sell-through rate had absolutely no ability to predict the future price action. And part of that conclusion is that there are so many boxes coming onto and off of the market without being sold every day at whatever whims of the owners of those boxes that you just cannot predict what's going to happen. There are way more boxes out there ready to be put on the market if necessary. I guess in stock market terms, we would say that the float is very large compared to the ask side of the order book. Maybe that's how we would say it. But there are a lot more boxes just ready to be put out there that come in and out of the market. And so if the price starts to go up, a whole lot of boxes that weren't listed on TCG Player will be listed. And so it's just not fruitful to talk about sell-through rate and, what if you tried to buy 50 boxes? Well, the reality is if you went out there and Ravnica remastered collector boxes right now and you bought 20, a whole bunch more would enter the market because the price would go up a little bit. And so if there's only 50 out there today, maybe you could buy 250 before you really exhaust the market. So just keep that in mind. Don't put too much stock in that. As far as the Magic market as a whole, I don't think we've turned the corner. Things are kind of in this turbulent transition period where WotC has understood they have to make changes. They have to cut print runs, and they're kind of doing that. They're trying to figure out where the size of the print run should be. And even if they weren't trying to jerk the pendulum all the way back over to the other side again in response to the last couple years of poor management, they would always have trouble trying to guess what the print run should be. And especially on something like collector boxes where you can't just conservatively underprint and go back to the printer later. So I think we're just kind of stuck in that turbulent transition period for a while WotC tries to figure out what should we be doing. And remember, every decision that WotC makes about this is going to affect buyers. It's going to affect buyers' behavior. And so you have this much higher order system of feedbacks and everything else and signals going back and forth. And it's just going to be difficult for the time period of trying to figure out what should things cost. How much do we need to FOMO and panic? Are pre-sales and pre-ordering worth doing again yet or not? Are we not there yet? So yeah, it's just kind of a bad period for that. And I guess there's no better place to look for that than Karlov Manor and the way it is utterly crashed. I mean, there's no nice way to put it. I've seen collector boxes, a few of them down in the 140s. Just amazing how bad it's done. Play boxes at $99 and we're 2-3 weeks after release. So it's just done horribly. And again, it's sometimes the set is a whiff. It's famously Crimson Vow. You make a set that's themed around weddings and lo and behold, a bunch of young men who play Magic don't want to buy it. Who could have guessed? So sometimes they can nail the print runs, they can distribute everything competently, and it'll still fall flat on its face because of flavor, theming, power level, the environment created by it, the draft environment, whatever else. So it's just a turbulent time, and we're going to have to deal with that for a while. And really, you don't expect the turbulence to ever go away. You expect that it'll probably just get better, maybe a year from now or so, once everything is a little more controlled, once the market has a little more faith in WotC again, assuming they continue to execute well. So, and there's always that. So, and then on that note, Fallout collectors. Yeah, don't panic over these. Don't FOMO. If you miss out, buy the commander cases. I don't know if this is going to be like Doctor Who. With Doctor Who, a commander case of Doctor Who contained every mechanically unique card from the Doctor Who set. So if you were just looking for cards to potentially slot into your other commander decks, you could have bought a Doctor Who commander case and gotten at least one copy of every mechanically unique card. Maybe it's going to be that way with Fallout also. If not, you would at least get close. And, I've seen the commander cases, I think 149, I saw them somewhere earlier today. They're 169. There's someone dumping them on TCG Player to undercut the market right now. And compared to the collector boxes at 360, whatever, it just doesn't excite me to try to chase the FOMO on that. Personally, I'm very slightly negative on the Fallout crossover. Fallout as a property is like a 20-year-old IP, and the games are kind of exhausted. I think the fan base is kind of it's on its downtrend. If you were to look over the whole lifetime of Fallout, the fan base is on the downtrend. I would say that. And so I don't see that as an opportunity like Warhammer 40K, where it's kind of renewed itself again and again over time, and will probably continue to have a strong fan base for many more decades. Let's see, TCG expansion life cycle. Yeah, when it comes to those Fallout collector boxes, the TCG expansion life cycle will do its thing, even if it's very, very short printed and it's very popular. It just means that the pool on it downwards from the expansion life cycle will be weaker. It'll be less. Maybe it just means that the price of the collector boxes doesn't rise as quickly over time. But we have to understand that the TCG expansion life cycle is always going to do its thing to a greater or lesser degree. So I just say don't FOMO on it. It's okay to miss out once in a while. That's why we cast the wide thin net, because we don't know when we're missing out on the long-term play. Don't lose your mind and fear that you're missing out on the short-term play of pre-sale boxes of Fallout collectors. So we'll see how that works out. As far as channel update, personal update, and everything, I've been making fewer videos lately. My migraines have been really bad. I'm back to having them every single day. We're trying to change my medicine, trying to get it under control, and we'll see how it goes. I've been really leaning hard on the single sales on TCG Player through the Direct program. I've really, really gone heavy on that in the last several weeks. I mean, I had a time period of several, maybe a week or so ago, where over like an 8-day period, I had opened more than 100 boxes. So, I'm really leaning into that hard, and man, there's some good deals out there and some good opportunities within Ferg BV. So I'm hoping to scale that up a little better and, just see what kind of money I can wring out of that in the short term. So that's what I'm up to. Leave me some questions. Thanks for all the support from everyone, especially my very generous patrons. And send me your questions. If you're a patron, send them on Patreon. I'm more likely to get them sooner, but I am making videos as I can, as I have the cognitive ability and the clarity, and I can do it. Let me know what you think, guys. Any questions, feedback, disagree with me? Let me know. Love to hear it. Thanks a lot, everybody.